You're listening to Real Talk with Waz. I'm very excited to have you. Enjoy this episode. We got Kevin on the podcast today. Kevin is a flag football enthusiast like myself. We met playing flag football, and Kevin has recently launched his startup Tacky Bar, which has gained a lot of traction in the football industry, and I admire you for that. I think it's really cool. But I think it's funny because we've crossed paths so many times during flag football, but we've never actually sat down and talked like this. So
I know. I literally thought of that driving here. I was like, man, him and I have talked so many times about business and just what you've done and what I've done, but never it's always been on the sideline during a game or, just 5 minutes here and there. So it's nice to actually sit down and chat.
Definitely. Yeah, it's it always gets cut off. It's oh, I got to go back in,
Every time. Yeah. How's the business? Oh, yeah, we just had needed back in. And then you fly out. It happens, It's so weird because you go to flag, you're there for an hour or two, and you have 20 conversations, but in total, those are probably 8 minutes together,
That's a good point. I never thought of that.
I go to tournaments and I'm there for 8 hours and I'll probably have 15 minutes of dialogue, which collectively together, just because everyone gets pulled every way, and I do too. Especially since I have booths set up and stuff now too when I travel. It's so hard to multitask and keep a conversation.
Yeah. You're doing a lot at those tournaments because that's a main thing for Tacky Bar is doing those pop-ups, right?
Right. Yeah. Now, especially I just did Nashville 2 months ago, but I also played. So the whole tournament I was either playing or I was at my booth. Thankfully, shout out to John Garcia.
Shout out John.
He helped me out. We worked out a little bit of a deal, but he was also playing too. But thankfully, our championship games, we were closed up. So he was able to play and we actually won. Yeah. So it was perfect timing, but it's long days. Even ask him, or when I did Tampa, it was 6 days, 5 days of just waking up at 6, going to set up, setting everything up, being there, being the salesperson, going to talk to people, networking, and then going playing. So this year I'm gonna calm it down in Tampa. I should have some people running the booths with me. I pay them, take care of them as much as I can. Yeah, which is also cool because they're all my friends. So I'm I get to give back to my friends, and they don't mind. If you ever travel, I always tell people, leave your bag there, hang out. I want it to be a booth that people look over and just see people hanging out and talk to them. We're throwing around the ball.
Makes it more approachable.
Right. Yeah. It's just that's how it started with flag football. So I want to keep it that way. We're throwing around the football. We're talking about flag. We're talking about regular football. We're talking about everything, So people are just, there's been times that people just walk up and they start talking about us, the conversation we're just having. They don't even buy anything, but I go, hey, what's your name? And they go, blah, blah, blah. And then I add them on Facebook or whatever. And then I'm just friends with them. It's okay. Word of the mouth, that one share is 10 more eyes, in Arizona. I just had an order that sent out to Ohio. Where is it? Ohio. Why can I?
Ohio?
Yeah, Ohio. I couldn't think of the name. So it's pretty cool. I've pretty much every state I think I've shipped out to, which is pretty cool.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Now, talk a little bit about Tacky Bar. What is it? Because I'm sure the average person listening probably doesn't know what it is.
And people have asked me because it looks like cheese. It looks like I should have bought a bar.
That's true. Yeah.
It looks like cheese or it looks like soap. My mom actually I gave my dad a bar because he was really I don't know, just wanted it. So
yeah,
he told me, he goes, yeah, you need to get me another bar. I'm like, yeah, sure. Why though? And he goes, Mom thought it was soap. So she didn't know. She was just doing something, threw it in there, and then realized it was not happening. Way. Yeah. So she's I had to toss it. It was just kind of messed up. I'm all right. But yeah, so it's just a wax bar, a tack bar that also conditions the leather football. So it's just designed for leather footballs, whether that's being any brand, which is nice. But it helps condition. It's the first and only tack and conditioning bar in the world. It's patent pending right now. In a couple months, it should have the patent filed and hopefully go through, no issues, and it'll be the patent's mine. So if anyone wants to copy me, then I can take their money or figure it out. But so it literally just hit me one day. I bought a ball, I'm sorry, probably 2 years ago, right before one of our worlds. And I was like, oh, I need to get a Wilson tack brush and bar. That's all I knew. I didn't know anything about footballs, how to break them in. I just see people at tournaments in flag using that. So I was like, well, I should probably buy it too. I go on and it's sold out on their website. It was like, whatever. All right, I'll go on Amazon. Go to Amazon. They're sold by Wilson for $50.
What?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Their website's only $25.
Yeah.
Plus shipping, whatever.
Yep.
But Amazon was $50.
Wow.
And I was like, whatever. I don't have to get Wilson. I'll get something else.
Mm-hmm.
I start Google searching. Nothing. I'm like, there has to be something, right?
Yeah.
I found one other little rinky-dink thing that really wasn't anything. The reviews were pretty poor. And they mostly make footballs anyways. So I was like, I don't really trust it. I'm going to just try to make my own. I'm like, in my head, it's like, it's just wax. How hard can it be?
Right.
You know, it was super hard, but I figured it out eventually. And then I kind of had an idea. I got a free Nike Vapor football off Facebook Marketplace randomly after one tournament, picked it up, pumped it up, and then that was my demo ball. So I brought that in the shower, brushed it in, went outside in the snow, in the dirt, threw sand on it, just like it was
just wore the hell out of it.
Yeah, just to see what can work. And then I was like, you know what? Everyone's just doing a tack bar. If there's a way I can actually condition it, because I did a bunch of research on how to the maintenance of a football, and then also how to like take care of it and you know what to do with it. I was like, if I can put conditioning on it, because it's leather, it's skin, you know, it needs to stay hydrated. It needs to, you know, stay that supple like for a good while. Yeah. So I figured out how to add conditioning on top of the tack. Okay. Took me a bunch of bars. Steve Tambo actually has like the first prototype. Yeah. Because I brought it to flag one day and I was like, keep it on low, but try this out. And every time I made a new bar to try out, he just kept it. And he's still using like a bar from like 2 bars ago. It's kind of the same thing, just a different wax. Yeah. And I'm like, I thought you were using the other one. He's like, I just like this one so much. So it's funny. The other day he like showed me he had like 5 bars. But yeah, so I just started kind of having the ball rolling. I had no idea what I was doing. I called it Max Wax at first because I thought it was clever.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was. I was like so proud of it. Yeah. And then my best friend's uncle, who I call Uncle Eric, he's a businessman. He actually invented a grip for baseball and golf. Oh wow. Yeah. So he had success in that, and I called him, and he's just like, shoot it straight with me. He's like, that name's horrible. We need to change it right now. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I thought it was like clever because like he's like, no. He's like, do you want to be clever or do you want it to like stick? I was like, yeah, you're right. So we like took probably an hour or so just brainstorming ideas, and Tacky Bar was available for a domain. So I bought tackybar.com and I was like, Tacky Bar, figured out how to like, you know, do all that legal stuff with it. Yeah. So it's like Tacky space bar. And it's been almost 2 years with it. NFL teams are trying it out right now. I just sent a bar out to the Jets, the Saints. Yeah, I have like over 10 teams trying it out right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, are
you just sending it to them, saying give it a shot? You know?
Yeah, like that's a drug dealer. First one's free. You know,
first one's free, but not the next one. Yeah, but no, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, because I thought of it like using social media. Yeah. I added the Chargers equipment manager on Facebook because I saw a video of him in it and I was like, I'm going to add him. I sent him a message. He just read it, never said anything. I was like, at least I tried. Yeah. Then he posted something about equipment managers and it was like an Instagram page. And I go, oh man, this is gold for me. So I went on Tacky Bar's account, followed all of them and just sent them a message going, hey, I wanted to send you out just for feedback for free. Like, let me know what you think of it. I know, yada, yada. And some say, yeah. And some don't open it. Some do, and they don't say anything. Some say, hey, I appreciate it. No, thanks. Yeah. But
you're taking that extra step, though, to get it out there.
Right. And everyone's like, well, that's crazy. But you think about it. Equipment managers, you go to a Pats game. If 3 equipment managers can walk by you, you don't know who they are.
That's true.
So they only have the same amount of followers. You probably have more followers than them. Because they're just normal people working those jobs. But me taking that time out, they don't really get that many message requests. They're not like celebrities. Yeah. So they're like, yeah, like, I sent one to the Patriots. That guy was the most Patriots response. He goes, yeah, we'll try it, but I don't know if we're going to ever buy one. Like, I just go, okay, man. All right. But like, still cool to see a label saying, Patriots Place. And, the Raiders sent me a video of them using it. Like,
Yeah.
It's super cool. You know, the Seahawks actually ordered a bar, and I was brushing my teeth one night, looked, and almost did a backflip. Like, just couldn't believe it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's gaining traction, which is like the coolest and scariest part of it, just because I want it to be successful. I just have to make sure everything else is aligned for it.
Yeah. You got to get all the ducks in a row before it blows up.
Yeah.
I made that analogy today, actually. It's you got to perfect your craft before you start taking on business, or else it's just a bucket with holes in it. Yeah. So when you fill it with business, the water's just going to come trickling out, you know? So, but it's good that you know that ahead of time, you know?
Well, I was so confident, and people like, you know, that my friend's uncle, he told me, and a couple other people from business, they're like, how many bars can you like supply right now on the spot? I'm like, I have like 20 made. They're like, they're going to want 200 and you're going to have that. And I'm like, I mean, I could make it. What if they're saying no? They need.
How long does it take you to make one bar?
So I make them in my apartment, one by one, and it used to be in a tin little like thing for like mini cakes, and I would melt it like boiling water in a pan, hold it with like pliers, and then melt it, and then mix it, and then pour it into this little casing. Took forever. Then I invested in wax melter, and I could probably make like 100 in an hour, if that. Like it's pretty quick. Okay. I have it down to a science. I have everything measured out. So I usually just throw in a podcast, and then
you're
just
cooking.
Literally cooking. Yeah. So I have over 100 at the ready right now, and if I needed to, I can make 100 more tonight, just like that, to be ready. Hopefully down the line, I'll have a manufacturer, like I haven't really looked into it, but it's another thing that like you said, eggs in line, and just making sure. Before I had no idea how to like reach out to a manufacturer. Now I have ideas, and like if I want to stay like in the States or oversee it,
Yeah, because a lot goes into that.
There's a lot. Yeah.
And I'm sure it costs quite a bit to actually go with a manufacturer.
Especially in the United States, but I'd probably prefer to do it there. Once I have the patent,
if this were Shark Tank, they'd tell you to outsource it.
Oh, 100%.
If you're not building it in China, then they're not investing in you, basically.
Exactly. Yeah. They want it on pennies,
Yeah.
The way I'm doing it right now is kind of costly.
Is it? I mean, you're doing it yourself, so it's more time.
Yeah, more time, but like, I still have to like package it by hand and all that stuff. But when you're passionate about something, it doesn't really matter. Like you're going to do it regardless.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I made like 80 on Labor Day, I didn't have any orders, but I made them, and then today good. I just sent out 9 orders, like it just, even on the slow days, you have to work as hard or even harder than the busiest days, as you probably do all the time.
Yeah. It's hard to shut it off for me. I'm just, and you're probably the same way. You're just always thinking about it, and that's something that's like, if that does blow up, you're probably thinking that like, when this blows up, I want to be ready for it.
Yep.
Because you want to be able to capitalize,
Yeah. It's hard sleeping. I mean, I actually do like meditation before bed. That's the last thing I do, because it helps me sleep. It clears my mind. Yeah. Because I used to close my eyes and go,
we got to get you meditating on the flag football field before games.
I'm on a hot streak of 3 weeks right now, just chilling.
Yeah.
Just chilling. Yeah. That's taking good. The L's, taking the dubs. But yeah, I realized that the other day. I was on live for one of the games, and I heard myself, and I was like, yeah. That's just, the competitive spirit's one thing, but,
it's entertaining.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, playing against you is entertaining.
For good or worse. But, yeah, I mean, I need to chill with it. But, it's actually surprisingly helped me with even that, too, and just everyday life. But, yeah, because I would be up till 3 a.m, just researching stuff. And then I'd be up at 7, doing things for whatever, I have a full-time job still, but, like, taking care of my son, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it was just super unhealthy. I'm like, I just need to like enjoy my sleep. And
you're balancing a lot. You need the rest.
Yeah. But I mean, you probably can relate too. It's hard to turn that off. Like you said, you know, like I can tell that you work so much more hard than like everyone thinks you actually do, because everyone just sees the post, and you just posted a clip today.
That's what it is. Yeah. It's just perception.
Yes,
you know,
it is.
They don't see the suck. They see the highlights.
Yes. You're so lucky. How am I lucky? You know, you build your own luck, and people don't get that. And some do. Like before I started this business, I just was like, oh, I'll support my friend just because they're my friend. And now I try to support them even harder because I know how hard they work, or I assume how hard they work, because there's so much that goes into it, man. Like real estate is super interesting to me. I've always thought of it. Like my first purchase would love to be like a duplex and then own the other side and, you know, all that fun stuff.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah. And like, that's just something I would want to do just for like a little bit of money and, you know, but like what you do, man, it's nonstop hustle, you know, and I respect it.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. I know a couple people that started real estate and they're not doing it anymore because
it takes a while. It wasn't until like the third year in it really popped.
You started in 2020, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like end of 2019, right at the beginning of 2020. I was still doing it part-time then. So it was like I was 1 foot in, 1 foot out type of thing.
Yep.
I knew I wanted it, but I also had to make money. I was in a crunch, you know. That's always the challenge, is having the capital up front, and I didn't really have it. So it took a couple years, and then, you know, once I saved working the W-2 and then I got the building, I was like, yep, all in. Yeah. You know, just got to bet on yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
You got to. And, you know, like we were just talking about my old job. That was my part-time job on top of my full-time job. And then I started Tacky Bar. Yeah. So what
are you doing full-time?
I work remotely for a tech company. Like it's super, you know, relaxed at times. So, you know, I can kind of double dip if I need to.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, but it's Monday through Friday, and nothing's in office, all remote through a computer, which is nice. But then I would go into my other job. So I'd work 8 to 4:30, then be 5 to 9 or 8:30 there.
Wow. Dude.
Yeah. So like the nights off, I would be playing flag, or I'd just be with my son. And I was working over 60 hours between both jobs. And then I was also starting my own company. And then I was a father, and I still went to the gym, and I still try to do flag football.
Good for you, man.
Yeah. It was a lot.
That's hard to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's those times where you have to work the two jobs, right? And it's like, you're in it and you're just like, another day. You keep pushing, but it's like you make it through those times. Like, I'm sure you feel a little bit better not having to work that extra part-time job, right?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I didn't really want to leave because the money was fairly good. I was there for 5 years. And, you know, for what my role was, I was one of the higher paid technicians of that. So I was like, it's so hard to leave. But then a new management came in. They were like, you need to work more hours because you barely make the fit the minimum. And I'm like,
oh, yeah.
It's super hard. Then my mom needed back surgery. So she used to watch my son. So everything started aligning up, and I was like, now's the time that I have to make this step to go, okay, I'm leaving. And I put my 2 weeks in. And, you know, the other week I drove by because the post office is right next to the mall where I used to work at.
Yeah.
And I just dropped off orders that like, it was around 7:30. And I'm like, this time last year, I was still working till like 8 or 8:30, just being a zombie. And I realized I'm dropping off orders for something I'm passionate about, making the same amount of money that I would if I was there. And I'm like, the best decision I ever made.
Yeah.
Super scary in the moment, as you probably can relate.
Yeah, definitely.
But, you know, it was one of those like, wow, like this is insane. I'm so glad I did it. And I'm hopefully this time next year when I'm watching this again, you know, pops up on the memories. Yeah. I'm just full-time Tacky Bar. The goal is January. If it happens, it happens. If not, it's okay. I like the job I'm at now. I'm not going to be there forever, but it's comfortable for, you know, if I need to be there for next like 2 or 3 years.
Definitely. Yeah, that's good. It's good that you're aware of that and you're giving yourself that grace, because it's so easy to, you know, pressure yourself into thinking that you're not doing enough. You got to invest more time into it. But knowing that you are at a place where you can put up with those hours at the job that might not be the passion project is going to pay you dividends long term. Right. You know?
Yeah. I mean, like you said, you can relate just to the fact being that you did that part-time until you had it ready. So in the back of your mind, you weren't rushing it. You knew what the end goal was and you worked for it. A lot of people now, like especially with social media, they see something and they just want to do it immediately.
And they want the instant gratification.
Yes.
There's none of that.
Yeah.
It's so hard to have that, you know?
I still have it sometimes too. When I'm like, when I post a new video, I'm like, oh yeah, this is gonna be great. Yep. I released the Tacky spray, and I remember talking to you. I'm like, yeah, like I'm stocking up because I know it's gonna fly off the shelves.
Yeah,
still hasn't flown off the shelves. It just humbles you.
Rome wasn't built in a day,
But you can relate.
Yeah,
having a business or working for yourself or being an entrepreneur, it humbles you every day.
Every day.
Yeah. Because you're like, I'm the man. Yeah. And then the next day you're like, I have no clue what I'm doing. Nothing's working. Should I start from the ground up again? But it's all healthy, I think, just because we're getting away from that instant gratification of just, oh, I want that. Let me order it. Boom. Now it's at my door the next day. We have to work hard for it. And if it doesn't work, we fix it and then we try again. So, like I said, going back to it, any business I see that my friends in or, small business, I try to support just because of all that, now knowing. Yeah. A lot of people don't know. They're like, oh, that's cool. The little Tacky thing. That's good for you.
Yeah. It's bigger than that.
Yeah, it is. But, I don't say it like that, but I'm like, thanks. I appreciate it. Even them just thinking of it, like, oh yeah, it was. You're doing the little house thing, right? Yeah. And you're like, yeah. Just put in 13 hours yesterday, but you don't see
something light.
Yeah. It's one of those things, but
yeah, you got to be grateful for what you've created so far, though.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, some days you take a seat back and you realize it, and some days you just nose down in the work. But, I mean, it gets done regardless.
Now, is your patent that you have for Tacky Bar, is it just for the brand itself? Is that just for the bar?
Just for the bar.
So are you working on a patent for the spray, or are you waiting to see what happens with it?
The spray, there's probably 30 other sprays just like it. Okay. To be honest with you. It's a saturated market. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Tacky Bar is the first and only in the world, so my main focus is doing that patent first and then getting it. Having that patent pending saves me because legally I can be backed by a lot because no one can really take it. Yeah. It would get a little bit gray areas, depending where they're doing it and how they're doing it. But, this will probably be the back burner. I only have Tacky Bar on Amazon right now. Eventually that will be on Amazon. Okay. But.
So it is on Amazon. That's cool.
Yeah. Shout out to Mason, FF1. He was like, dude, you need to get on Amazon. Yeah. He's like, I'm telling you, you're missing out on the market. And he showed me numbers that Wilson was doing. And I was like, they're making over, they're getting over 1,000 orders a month. And I'm like, I need to do that. And I'm not there yet, but I'm getting consistent amount and my ratings are good. So throughout the days, they're getting more and more. And he helped me along the ways because it's super hard to get your own product on there, which I found out. I was trying to do, type it in and it was asking me for a UPC. And then I was like, hey, man, do you know what?
A whole bunch of stuff, right?
Yeah. But he was like, yeah, I know what to do. And he helped me out. And, he's been a huge supporter of it. And
that's good.
He actually shot the video for Tacky Spray.
That video was cool. Yeah, that was a really creative video. I like that.
Yeah, it was fun. And, having Jay, one of the Tacky Bar sponsored athletes, and then Adam, the other one, being in there was cool, incorporate that. And it was
I think
fun.
You guys have an acting future, to be honest. That was gold. That was really good.
It was made pretty much on the spot.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. The one that I was like, oh, I have an idea, and I catch the spray bottle. Bud was there, and he was like, you should have it drop. Wow. I'm like, oh yeah,
just on the spot like that. That was pretty good if you're just doing it on the fly.
Yeah, we had some idea what we want to do because I thought about, I'm like, if I get hit in the head, and then I'll be in a dream state, and but we kind of tweaked it out and got it fixed. Yeah, but it came out great.
Yeah, and it's good to get on social media because that's the main place everyone's seeing your stuff. I'm sure your TikTok content's pretty good too, for what it is. Because it's that as long as you're on every site, that's what's important.
I just copy what I see, whatever's trending. I don't use TikTok.
I mean, that's what TikTok is. TikTok is just copying what the next trend is and trying to create the next trend. I don't know.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I do.
Play the catchy song and post something on it,
Yeah, see what sticks. I mean, I sent one of the bars to...
you should be on TikTok Shop. Are you?
I have an email saying they have to reapply for it. Something went wrong with it.
Oh,
so I literally just got that today.
Gotcha.
So I'm working on it. Yeah.
I've bought stuff on TikTok Shop. I'm
everyone has. Yeah. It's so easy. It's so convenient. That's the thing. FIU in Florida, the equipment manager, I sent her a bar.
Okay.
And same thing, it was like, just want feedback.
Mm-hmm.
She got it. She's like, hey, I've been super busy. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, it's fine. She was on like World Star because like a video of her just prepping a ball, you know, like showing people and stuff, which is cool. But, you know, I had a couple people send me like, hey, you should send her a bar. And I did. I was like, she just never read it. She never opened it. And then one day she responded, sent her the bar. And then, you know, she's like, I'm super busy. Someone went on leave. I'm like, oh, no worries. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
She's like, hey, I'm going to be posting a video about it today. I was like, wow, awesome. So she posted a video on TikTok, and I like reshared it on my Facebook, and I was like super amped about it. Then she posted a video on Instagram, and now it's at 1.2 million views.
On Instagram?
On Instagram.
Wow. Did she tag you on Insta?
Yes, we're collabed. So like if you go
That's
on Tacky
awesome.
Bar's account, you'll see the video
That's the
pinned.
video.
1.2 right now, yeah.
Damn, that's good.
I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it.
You should try to find all the like social media influencers for each team.
See, I don't know how much they would do with it though, because the social media, like they try to do like interviews with the mini mics with the players and stuff. She is very unique just for the fact being that she's like a content creator, but she's also a equipment manager. Like she's merged both worlds together, and everyone thinks it's super cool. She went live the other day just fixing helmets, and everyone like started watching. It was like thousands of views.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
She found a little niche.
Yeah. So like really no one else is doing that like her. And the social media team, if I gave them a bar, they probably wouldn't know what to do with it. They might ask for money. I might try it, you know, might like get into the right hands. But I try to do the equipment managers because, to be honest with you, man, if the equipment managers use it and, you know, like the Jets, I just send them one. If Aaron Rodgers grabs that ball and goes, I like this one a lot, what do we do to it? And they realize they put Tacky Bar in it, they're going to come right back to me.
Yeah.
If the social media team sees a bar and they make a video with it, Aaron Rodgers might not even see it or be in it, you know, like.
I mean, as long as it's on, as long as it's on the channel, you know, it is what it is.
Right. Yeah. You know, try to get that traction. But, you know, that video going over 1 million views was just, it's still surreal to me. Like, I couldn't believe it.
That is big. That's a lot of views.
Yeah. Her TikTok is like at almost 900,000. So that might hit 1 million too.
Gotta capitalize. Tell me all your friends. Let's see who needs Tacky Bar. You know?
She tagged it. She said that, you know, she's like, there was something special about this ball that she labeled it TB on the ball for Tacky Bar. So like, she's like, everyone loved it, like in the video. Yeah. So like, it's very clear. She shows how to use it and everything. And I was like, oh my God, millions of views. Yeah. I'm like, you know,
what would be a cool video idea is, you know, getting like the reaction from like a quarterback.
Yeah.
Like where it's like interview style and it's like a video of like using Tacky Bar without them knowing. And then they're like, whoa, what, this is like a brand new football now. What happened?
Yeah. So
you know?
I wanted to do that in Nashville. I didn't have time, but I'm going to talk to Mason. We're going to probably do that at the next tournaments and stuff.
Just like that would be very cool.
Yeah. You know, even I was thinking like I drove by West and they have football practices. I'm like, one day I should just swing by there, throw them a bar.
The high school. Yeah.
You know, and just go, hey, you know.
I know the coach there, the head coach at West.
So, see, you know.
Hey, he used to coach me back in middle school.
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
Talk to him, see what's happening. You know, do you know Lozon, Jimmy Lozon? He used to play flag, but he has like 5 kids now, and he coaches Londonderry.
He played on Rage, right?
No, that's Sanford.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, different Jimmy. But Lozon, you've probably seen him around here and there. But yeah, he just ordered bars through Tacky Bar, like through his school though. So he's a head coach. So I can do like can't think of an invoice, so they can pay through their school's card or whatever type of money. So, and then they can see it for taxes and everything of that nature. So, you know, that's one thing I realized that I jumped all the way to the NFL. There's over 10 NFL teams using it right now. Yeah. And, you know, there's colleges using it. Like,
dude, there is literally like D1, D2, D3 high schools all in your state.
And I only
you could sell one bar to each one of them, and that's good money for you, you know?
No, and just even the word of mouth too. Yeah. I realized that I was shooting for the stars, kind of landed on the star, but then realized that I had all this that I missed.
Yeah.
I went over middle school, Pee Wee, all that, high school, and went right to, D1 colleges.
It's not the worst thing. Kanye West said shoot for the stars, land on the moon, right?
Right. Like, so I'm like backtracking. Now I'm like, all right, they're right down the street and they don't have a bar in their hands. That's on me, I'm like kind of realizing like, yeah, it's cool that I have that, but it's also be super cool to give back to the community.
You could pitch it because I know a lot of the high school football teams, they're always trying to save money. Like, where can they save money? That's the biggest thing. It's like, hey, what if you didn't have to ever buy a new football again?
Yeah.
It's like, just buy this product once, twice a year, and you're going to be all set.
Yeah. The best thing about living in New England.
Because the cost of a new football is crazy, right?
Yeah. It's over $100 if you get a nice one.
Like a good one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And, someone said it, it's an investment, like you buy a ball to use it for, hopefully forever. But, being in New England, I was able to test it in fall, spring, summer, winter, like the worst of the worst conditions and see how it feels. I had people tell me like, dude, we were in like a snow game. We used it and it was even better. Like we had to dry it off and then we applied it and it was that much better. And like, there's been games that I've used my football downpouring, like smashing the mud, whatever, hit concrete. I bring it back home and like there's videos of me, like you can see it's just all nasty. Tacky bar it up, coat it, brush, boom, back to life. Mason gave me a ball and I posted the other day. It was like discolored and everything. And I was like, I honestly don't.
I saw that video. Yeah.
That was literally just from Tacky bar.
Yeah.
So like it works. So I need to like let people know, especially in New England, hey, it can work for here and then save your football and also save money at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. There's some more untapped potential there.
I know.
You got plenty of room for growth here.
Oh yeah. Which is the best. But
yep. No, that's cool. Now, with the grips, you said you knew someone that makes grips, right? With like golf grips, is that a type of leather?
So this would probably work better because there's also sprays with it because this can actually like, it cleans it a little bit too. Like if you have a golf grip, you can spray it and then put it down.
Because that's what I was thinking. Like, could it be utilized for like a grip? Like handlebars or like...
I mean, the most common question I used to get was, can it work on like a leather jacket? I'm like, yeah, but do you want a sticky leather jacket?
Yeah.
They're like, no. I'm like, then you probably shouldn't use it. But it could condition it, but there's other things for that. There is conditioning for football. But if you were like, hey, man, like, I just got this new Duke and I broke it in, but then, I need to recondition it because it got dry. That's going to take like 2 days because you have to apply it and then make sure it stays in a spot for like 12 or like 48 hours to dry up and then maybe brush it again. So I like took out that whole step.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I still recommend everyone to do the normal, whatever, they put mud or they break it in naturally, whatever they do with that leather football. But then after you can tack it up and then it saves the life of like, it doesn't crack. Yeah. It doesn't get all stiff, like it stays soft. Some people don't really like it and that's okay. But like a lot of people, like when they're using my personal football, like, dude, how is this so soft? It's like pumped up, but the leather feels nice. I'm like, it's Tacky bar. Like it'll keep it soft. And it's not like I use it all the time. Some days I forget to put it on before I go play and flag and it's still fine just because it's still hydrated.
Do you try to use it before every game?
I try. Yeah. I typically do. Steve Tambo, he uses it on the sidelines. I'll see him before games.
Yeah, I've seen him using it. Yeah.
Right. and there's some people that are like, oh, I only use it like once a week, but I'll play like 3 games. It's okay.
Yeah.
Like that's the best part of it. Like if people want to use it once, twice, 3 times, it's a bar and the returning customer aspect, it kind of hurts me because it lasts forever. That's the biggest thing. But I'm okay with it. The bar size is good for me. People will come back if they need it. They know where to find me. They know where the website is.
Now, do you sell the brush too?
Going back to manufacturers, I'm trying to find one.
Yeah.
It is so hard because I have probably 3 different brushes right now that don't work to my liking. They kind of work, which I could probably get away with.
Yeah.
But I just, it doesn't sit right with me because I know if I was a customer buying that and I got that brush and I'm like, this is not like I could get something else better. So like it's super hard to find a brush because the bristles, they're like if you have like waves in your hair, you can brush it. It's kind of like that.
Okay.
But the bristles are compact together.
They're really close. Yeah.
They're really close. So when you're hitting that, it pretty much gets everything up there, or works it in.
Yeah.
How spaced out it is, it really doesn't do that. You're missing spots. So you'd have to keep going over and over again, and it's going to take forever. You're never going to get it right because the bristles are going out because they're not compact together. Once they're together, they'll work better on it. But finding a manufacturer that can do that is super hard because I want like my name, like Tacky Bar's logo on it. So I can get it engraved, but then I have to pay for a demo. And everything I found so far is overseas.
Gotcha.
And it's like $80 to get like 2 just to see which it is. So yeah.
But that's a key part to it, right?
Right. But so far I haven't. I have one guy actually, Empire, Chris Landon, shout out to him. He's working with someone. He's like, I have demo brushes coming in. I think we found one that might work.
Okay.
Because I talked to him it's hard, man. He's in the clothing, like he does like the flags, he does all that stuff. Like he has people now. I don't.
Yeah.
So that aspect that I'm trying to outsource because I was on like Alibaba and Temu, which are not horrible spots, but I found out that like Alibaba, it's someone that is in the US that outsources. So like they use someone.
It's like drop shipping almost.
Pretty much, yeah. You go through them, but in reality, they're going through someone else, so they're getting it even cheaper, So like it's trying to cut out that middleman to go right to that person.
Yeah.
So it's just figuring out. I'm working on brushes constantly. That's one thing that
Can you utilize it without the brush?
Yeah, you can use like a rough paper towel, or not a rough paper towel.
A cloth.
Yeah, cloth.
Okay.
So it does
just
work.
Like rub it in.
Right. Yeah. Or just a light coat. And if you're on turf, you can brush it in that way. It's not convenient. It sucks. I have a brush that I use that when I go to booths, I'm like, hey, if you don't have a brush, like I had players come up to me, hey, can I borrow that real quick? Throw it to them. They brush it in, put it back, and then call it a day. Hoping soon I'll have a brush because that is like the last thing I need to start.
And then you have it right in the kit.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I've already looked at packaging, and packaging would work. I could put the brush. I could do a whole
thing with all three. Yeah,
yeah, and it'd be easy and convenient. A good like Christmas gift or what have you.
Yeah,
it's just finding that brush has been a nightmare. I thought it was gonna be so easy. I'm like, oh, that's the easy part, getting a brush. Just
find one that find one you like, and then just say, I want this exact one.
Right.
Can you do that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. The manufacturers, they'll work with you.
Yeah.
But like, I have them send me videos and pictures of it. And because from the side, the brushes look the same.
Yeah.
But once you go like this, you realize there's rows missing. And they won't work.
You're going to be a brush professional after this. You're going to know everything about a brush.
Oh, I already know like the 3 different types. There's a hybrid. There's like horsehair.
You got waves under there?
Oh, yeah. No wave checking me.
You've been combing.
Franklin, I've seen his brushes before and checked him out.
Yep.
And I'm like, yeah, that wouldn't work. But like, it's a good, like, I think that's like a hybrid of like, some type of plastic, and then also like a horsehair or some type of like hair that can go in between the bristles with it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's a nightmare, but joys, man, it's joys.
Oh yeah. Where do you see Tacky Bar going in like the next 3 to 5 years? Like, what's your goal with it?
I mean, long term would be to be full time with it. That's like the biggest goal, is to be sustainable where I can, quit my full-time job and make a living, have enough money to, take care of health, my son, whatever, like rent, car payment, get to that point. And, from there, I would love to hire some people I know, whether, it's to help me make them or, business team. Like my buddy in Florida, Tim, he helped me run the booth at Worlds last year in Tampa. He has a business degree. He killed it. He gave me 5 different business cards from that tournament. He goes, this guy wants to talk to you. These want to talk to you. Oh, they do this. They want to talk to you. That guy he's a nice, personable person, and he knows about business, but he also knows about people. I would love to hire him as like my business guy. There's people I would love to talk to and get involved with me. but we'll see, you know, because it can go one route. It can go, I'm doing this all by myself and I oversee it.
Yeah.
Or I go into partnership with a company. We open up a manufacturer. We talk about, you know, business. And then I kind of just.
You got to go on Shark Tank.
Everyone says that, man.
Yeah.
Everyone says that. Maybe one day. I don't know. You know.
You could do it.
I know I could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not worried about that. It's just, I don't know if I have to. As
That's valid.
stupid or cocky as that may sound. Yeah.
You don't know if you have to yet.
I'm trying
Maybe you get to a point where it's so successful that in order to get to the next step is doing something like that.
Yeah, I mean, the ultimate goal would be like a company like
because I mean they give you money to basically market,
right?
You know,
yeah. They take away like that lump sum of finding that manufacturer.
Yeah.
They find it cheaper. You know, they tweak everything, and I get it, and it makes sense. Mm-hmm. But if I go in a partnership with someone else, they can do that too, and they might take less. So it all depends. You know, I would love for like Adidas or Under Armour. They don't have their own bars, and they go, "Hey, we want to buy you out," and then I can go, "I'm going to take this much percentage, and then I'm going to have like equity in it, and then work it out." And now I'm just making mailbox money.
That'd be cool.
That's the end goal is to get
swish on it.
Right. You know, like to get that buyout. Because if I have the patent, if Wilson is like, this guy's taking money from us and it's doing better than us, we're just going to take it from him. They can buy the patent off of me. They can buy everything. And if I'm okay with it, I can go, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Give me that money. And then, you know, you figure it out. If it doesn't sit right, then I always can say no.
Yeah.
It all depends. You know, ultimately it would be to just, you know, sell it or at least go in a big partnership where I'm not doing as much, and then wash my hands and then go on to the next life adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we'll see.
What would that be? Playing in the Olympics? Flag football Olympics?
Dude, that's sick. Yeah. But no, my excuse, because I'll be 35 then. Okay. I'm too old. It's perfect.
Yeah.
If I was younger, I'd be like, oh man, I need to think of another
Now
excuse.
You get to be that old guy that's like, yeah, if I was young, I would be out there.
Yeah, you know.
Back in my heyday, I would have been in the Olympics.
if I didn't pull my back out during those tryouts. But no, I know people that just won, like the Olympic team, like they just won a medal in the World Games. Yeah, I know
that's
pretty
sweet.
much all of them. Like the coach, they use Tacky bar. So he's already assigned as the head coach of the Olympics.
Really?
Yeah. So
get some promo at the Olympics. That'll be big.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be in Los Angeles, too.
Yeah.
And in 5 years, I'm hoping to have enough money. I can swing and go over there.
You know what you do? You just get a pop-up and you just stand on the side of the street outside of it.
Some Tacky bar right there.
Yeah, Tacky bar right on the street.
Yeah. I don't think the Olympic people would be okay with that.
You think they'd kick you out?
Yeah, but I don't think I would make money, so I'd probably kick myself out.
Yeah.
I think a big thing I need to start doing more of, and hopefully, you know, when I go full-time, I'm going to, you know, like... I already plan on getting a car under like Tacky Bar's name, and so I can travel because there's so many youth tournaments. That's where, and they're starting to use leather balls because like flag, as you know, has gotten so big over the past couple of years that those chintzy Walmart balls, they're like, my son's not using that. We're going to get the $110 dollar one that they're going to use for 3 years.
Yeah,
but they don't know how to use it, like maintenance and stuff. There's a lot of talk. Obviously, spray can work. Do
you have like a step-by-step tutorial online at all of like how to properly use it? Like you want to apply it, you know, scrub it. Like, do you have anything like that? I
have a couple TikToks. Yeah. I posted a video that actually Mason filmed back in January of how you use it and like who uses it and stuff. The video is kind of outdated now. I've had no, actually, it says NFL teams in it, but like. It's pretty easy. It's like, it's very simple, blah, blah. It kind of goes over everything in that short video. It was made for like TikTok, but I threw it on my website too. So when you scroll down, and there's also like Q&A. So like frequently asked questions, I have how to apply it. Yeah. That was the biggest thing. You know, they're just...
Because you want them to know how to use the product they're buying.
Dude, and also when you get a bar now too, there's instructions on the back of the label. Like there's a label that says like, do not consume, yada, just like this. So like there's a warning and then there's directions on how to use it.
Now, do you have to go through like specific licensing to do that? Or to have a warning label on the back or anything like that?
No, probably, but I'm just doing it to cover my ass right now.
Yeah.
You know, I at first I didn't do anything, and then I realized I'm like, people should know about this.
Yeah.
Like, you know, God forbid anything happen.
It's not like it's food. Like food's definitely.
It does look like cheese and soap to my mom.
It
so,
does look like cheese.
but you know, like this, if this gets in your eyes or your mouth, it'd be pretty nasty. Would you die? No. You know, if you eat a tacky bar, you'd probably survive. You know, you'd be nastily sick, and I don't know how you would eat that much wax. But you know, because the conditioning aspect isn't as much to like taking a bottle of conditioner for leather and then chugging it. You know, you'd be super sick and probably die from that.
Yeah.
But I don't want anyone to eat it just because like that's nasty, and also it can make you sick. I don't want to deal with that. I don't have the money. Like, you know, I have an LLC, so if they sue me, it's going through my business, not through me.
That's good. You have all that in a row. Yeah.
It's all from people that's warned me and me picking people's brains. You know, I know a guy that does football decals. Like he did like the Navy game. In Gillette, he did all those decals on the helmets. Yeah.
Oh.
So he was working for a company. They let him go. He started his own company, and I just pick his brain on so many things of like how to do this. And, you know, he's just like, yeah.
Has he helped get Tacky Bar into any of those spots?
He got me to send a couple bars to a couple NFL teams. One CFL guy, I forget the team name, but sent it to him. He's like, you need to send it to him right away. He's like super interested in stuff. So anytime he can, he's super busy too. He is a dad. He's like a father of two. So like, it's like the random like midnight on a Tuesday, he goes, hey man, just want to let you know, like just so I appreciate it nonetheless. Right. Yeah.
That's good. You're a dad too. How do you manage doing everything all at once? Like being a dad's a commitment.
It's a lot. I mean, you kind of figure it out. Everyone says, oh, I'm not ready to be a father or a parent. And obviously every situation is different, but you figure it out. Just like anything in life, let's say I broke my leg. I still got to do things. You know, I still got to shower. I still got to eat. I still you kind of adapt and figure it out, you know, and the reward of watching something that you saw when it was a baby or in a womb to now is just like, you know, just started kindergarten, like I said, and he is the biggest headache, but the biggest part of my heart. So it's like it balances out. But
definitely.
I mean, honestly, since I left my other job, it's been even better because like
you can spend more time with him.
I work remote, so like he's with me throughout the day, and it's awesome. Like he's literally like my best friend. Like there's days that him and I will just hang out. He's, you know, whatever, and we'll go to the park. We'll just hang out, and those are like the times where I like try to unwind and you know, just
that's the part that I get caught up sometimes on, because like my younger brother, he's 9, and I he was born when I was 15, so I like helped raise him basically. You know, single mother household. It's like watching him grow up now, and now he's like getting more of like a personality, becoming like a human more. It's just it's such an awesome thing to see, and trying to find the balance. Like sometimes you feel guilty working because you're not 100% attentive, because it's like you're not always gonna have that time. You know, the time's gonna pass. He's gonna be older. He's gonna be doing his thing. But I mean, you bring him to flag football. It seems like you give him good quality time. So that's good.
I post mostly about flag or tacky bar, but like people don't know, like I'm with my son all the time. Like some people are surprised that they're like, I didn't even know you're a father. And I
didn't at first. When I was first like starting to know you, I didn't know you were a father. My go-to is I didn't know either, you know, like, but like I don't really post too much about them just because especially now, like Tacky Bar, like I took off all my personal page stuff. Like it's just literally 2 reels of Tacky Bar that I collab myself with. Oh, okay.
Everything else, like I'll post on my story if it's like a picture of me and my friends, or if I'm playing flag. I don't post anything really there. Facebook's a little bit more, but I have more people for football or Tacky Bar than I do family. So it's like my family sees my son all the time. You know, I see my son all the time. I don't. You know, I guess it's a weird thing that people are like, "Oh yeah, I didn't know," but it's all right. You know,
you're doing it right.
Right? Yeah. But I think people have that assumption of like, "Oh, this like he just plays flag all the time. He doesn't do anything else." You know, like I wish. You know, I wish his life was that simple. But you know,
no, you're capitalizing on flag. You're using it as a way to network, and you're starting something much bigger than it, you know? To
the point now where I can put on my company card. Like I'm going to North Carolina for, you know, a couple of days at the end of this month. And it's all taken care of under my business. You know, I obviously have to pay for it. Like,
It's a write-off.
Right. It's a write-off, which is super cool. Like my
Yeah.
rental, like where I'm staying with the team, like that stuff is like unbelievable to me right now.
Now, what are you doing out there?
There's a football tournament, Weekend Warrior Worlds.
Okay.
So it's a fairly big one. I was supposed to have a booth. I don't know if I'm going to have one. Just trying to figure it out if I can get people there. It's just like such a nightmare. And I'm like at the same time, like maybe I can just go. And
How much do you have to pay for a booth?
it all depends on where the location is.
tournament,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, some people are like, you don't have to pay.
Oh.
Just, do this instead. Or sometimes it's, $100, whatever. I mean, it's just so many eyes that it's hard not to. But I need a table. I need chairs. I need a canopy. I need a bring.
You don't got that stuff on lock? Well, if you're traveling, it's hard. Yeah.
I don't have a car. I have a car, but
You're not going to drive there.
Yeah. That car is not making it to New Jersey, let alone North Carolina,
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that's like, I'll have to go to Walmart and buy that stuff.
Yeah.
And then, try to keep it as clean as I can and then clean it off and then try to
return it.
Yeah. Try to.
That's the way to do it.
And if they don't, then I have to leave it there. It's just one of those things where it's like, it's tough work, but right now that's what I have to do. And I have to fly with all that product, but I have to do a check bag because this is over 3 ounces when it's all together. And Tacky Bar, I did like 50 in a travel bag and they didn't flag it or anything, which was like
in a carry-on?
Yeah, super nerve-wracking. I was
They're probably like, what the hell is this?
To just see these
This
bars.
guy's got a bunch of cheese in here.
I was like, I don't know. I was like super nervous because that was my...
They didn't ask you?
No.
Wow.
That was my inventory. The first nationals last year in Texas for USA flag, I sold out of my backpack and just wore a Tacky Bar shirt and walked around.
That's cool.
Fast forward to Nashville, USA flag nationals, I have a booth.
Yeah.
And it was like super cool because I was doing it out of my backpack. Now I have a booth and I have a spray and it was really cool. Like full
That's
circle
awesome.
moment. Yeah. But like at first I was like, didn't know what to do. Posted online that I was going to be there with some product. And then I was like, if I get flagged with this, I'm screwed. So what I did was I mailed like 25 of the bars to the Airbnb we were staying at and hoped that it would show up. And it did.
Wow. Wow.
But I took that gamble because I was like, if I fly and they flag it and I have to throw
nothing. Yeah.
So like I took that risk and
I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah. Live and learn, baby. Live and learn.
That's good. Good stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, this has been good.
Yeah, it's been great, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to share with people?
Just follow along, Tacky Bar 1 on Instagram, tackybar.com on TikTok, and then just Tacky space bar at Facebook. I don't
Awesome.
know. Yeah. I mean, support Waz Homes to the moon,
Yes,
really
sir.
appreciate you.
Of course, man.
All right, real quick, I got to ask because I was thinking about it on the way here. During COVID, were you still doing real estate? I know were you part-time still?
I was part-time then.
Okay.
I got my license during it, and I was still finishing out my degree as an engineer. So I was doing that as well. So, yes, I was doing it during COVID, but everyone's like, oh, yeah, it was so easy during COVID. But I didn't get to take advantage of that, because I wasn't all in.
Why was it so easy during COVID?
Because there were so many people buying, at that time, and there was still a good amount of houses to sell.
Yeah.
So it was just left and right. But yeah, I didn't capitalize on it because I was, focused on other things at the time. I got to make money. Going to have to pay off the student debt at some point. I don't have a lot. But yeah, it's like I said, it wasn't until honestly, last year was my big year.
Yeah.
That was my breakout year.
It's good. Yeah. I was so curious about that because COVID threw the world upside down. And I was like, oh, I know he started in 2020 and obviously COVID and stuff. But even going to school and then getting your toes wet in here, trying to, and then also working part-time during COVID, was that
It was a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when it was my second year, the end of my second year, I started focusing on okay, I've been working an engineering job for 2 years. I've saved up money. Let's start looking for a house. And once I finally found this property and I was still working a full-time job and I was still selling houses on the side, I realized it got so overwhelming to the point where I had my first panic attack. I was in bed and I'm like, holy shit, I'm about to close on my first property. I had like 2 or 3 deals going on at the time, and I was like traveling for my engineering job, and they were just demanding so much of me from that job. And then on top of everything else, I'm like, what am I doing? What am I getting myself into? I didn't know. And I kind of just like threw myself in the fire, because even when I bought my first house, part of me didn't know everything, you know. I like learned from a lot of YouTubers or, you know, other mentors around me. And yeah, I just made it work. You just got to make it work, push through, because tough times make tough people,
dude.
You know,
honestly, I think it's super interesting. I like I said earlier, like the real estate is so fascinating to me. When I like had time, probably during COVID, just because I had a lot of more like, you know, time to just like do things. But like I was like looking into it. A couple of people I worked with, they were like talking about it. So I just thought it was super interesting. Yeah. Just like stocks, I don't have a bunch of them, but I think that's really cool.
It's fun to dabble in it.
Right. Yeah. And just see like how it really works. And like before that, I had no idea like how real estate worked. Like still to a point, I don't, you know, with all like the numbers at the end of like what the buyers or, you know, whatever. But I think it's super fascinating. So like going through those tough times, like seeing it through your view is like, I bet you don't regret it now, because like it made you who you are. Because now when you're doing, you know, super well, but you're super busy, you go, at least I'm not doing what I was doing before, you know, where I was working that full time traveling. And then I was also closing on my first house and freaking out of what I'm doing. Now you have a clear path of what you're doing. Yeah, you're busy and you are probably stressed out, but you can just look back on that and go, at least I'm not there from what you were to now, you know?
Yeah. It's hard to do that sometimes. And you have a great attitude, dude. And I respect you for that.
Yeah.
Because it's important to like know that, because, you know, I felt like after last year, it was like a peak year for me, right? So it was almost like I'm like I knew I was gonna have a peak year, because like I did so much. I checked a lot of the boxes, but I had it set in my head that I can't sit on the high horse for too long. So I was almost over it immediately.
Yep.
And then come the next year, I'm like, I'm not buying a house this year, but next year I'm gonna buy another one. You know, I don't have that next thing I'm chasing just yet. I feel like, because I'm like fine tuning my craft here and there, getting better at the business, and it's starting to just kind of snowball, and I'm watching it do that. So it's, you know, you get stuck in it, and it's like, it's just this mundane thing again. And I'm like, okay, I need a little something to keep me going, you know? But then you look back and you're like, this is why I'm doing it.
Yep.
That's what keeps you going.
Yeah, that's where it's for me, just because of how my life was set up. Like, my father had a successful roofing company, and unfortunately we fell on dark times and hard times, I should say. And we lost our house. We were foreclosed, and we had to live in a hotel, you know, like had a pull-out couch and a bed for 3 years, you know?
Really?
Yeah. During like high school, BNF high school and stuff.
Wow,
a lot of people don't know that about me, but you know, seeing my dad take that next step to turn his life back around. And now he owns a house in Chester, New Hampshire. It's beautiful. It's a nice big house. I think it's paid off now. But like he got a CDL license. He went through all that stuff. You know,
good for him.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, like maybe he wasn't a role model when I was originally growing up, but then he became one, because I saw if he can do that, anyone can do it. And I should be thankful what we have now and where we are at now. Because when we were living in the hotel, I was like, at least we have our family. But then we moved into an apartment. Then I was like, at least we have an apartment, not in a hotel. Then we moved into a house, you know. So it always reminds me to take that second to just dig your toes in the sand, sit back and relax for a second, to like that perspective, like look at where you are at now. And dude, sometimes I'm just like, don't think like that. But I try to give myself the reality check, because like it's hard, man. Like once you're so successful and you see that and you want more of it, it's hard to just not stay narrow-minded and want, you know, where's the next one? Where's you're kind of chasing that high, because like, dude, when I get like orders for 50 bars at a time, I'm like, this is amazing. You know, like I feel like I'm top of the world, but then I get 2 orders in the next 3 days, you know, it's like, but then I realize I'm like, I remember times
Step
where
back,
yeah,
breathe a little.
I remember times where when 3 orders in 2 months I was happy with, you know. It's just taking that a step back and realizing like be granted where you are now, like take for granted where you are now, and then just work upon it.
Yeah. That's great advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I try to do at least, you know?
Yeah, no, it's good. It's, you know, you got a lot of supporters, you got more than you think.
Yeah.
And it's important to remember that too.
Yeah. Same with you, man.
Yeah.
Same with you. Like it gets lost in the shuffle sometimes, but you know, I was looking for my Was Homes hoodie to wear today. I have no clue. I think it's in my car, but I was going to rep that.
Good.
I always try to rep it. I try to share your stuff, you know, like it and everything. And, you know,
I appreciate
just
it.
Real recognizes real. You know,
real recognizes real. That's the way to do it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, good stuff. I appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate you having me.